Now, Premier League teams did so well in the Champions League, except Chelsea, because they lost 3-1 to Bayern Munich. But Bayern is a big boy, so that is expected. But I hope Chelsea are watching out, because this is not the Conference League. This is the Champions League proper. And when you go to Bayern, a team that is used to winning the Champions League, you gotta be ready to play, because what we saw there was not right. Now, Chelsea coach also tends to twinkle the team too much. Maybe he has too many resources to throw around, because you cannot play CAICEDO as a right back, and you play James as a defensive midfielder. Why are you doing that? These are specialists in their positions. They need to play the right place, because CAICEDO as a number 6, as a defensive midfielder, he's one of the best in the world. You know, he just reminds me of Claude Makelele, the guy who used to sniff danger from a kilometer away. And James is a proper crosser of the ball. And you have Pedro up front, who is able to head good balls. So Chelsea are self-destructing, because the coach wants to just tinker too much. You know, like Pep used to do back in the day before he won the Champions League. So this is something that Chelsea needs to look at and change. Anyway, this is Coach Charles on Kick on Sports. If you're new to this channel, consider subscribing. Now, this weekend starts with the Merseyside derby. Liverpool against Everton, and it's a game that is going to be very, very, very interesting. Now, Liverpool have a very strong squad. Alisson in goal. They have Ekitike, Gakpo, Gravenberch, Konate. They have McAllister, Salah, Zoboslai, Van Dijk. These are guys who are very, very good in what they do. Bradley will start today, so it's a team that is well-oiled, well done. The funny thing is that they have rested Wits. Wits is not starting in this game, so that is something that we need to look out for. Why is this happening? Because this is a proper player. The Premier League tends to be a bit difficult, but anyway, Isak is not starting. He's not ready for this game. I think he's not ready to play back-to-back games. That is what I see, but he's on the bench. He's a player that is worth having on the bench. So if you look at the Liverpool bench, it's a very, very strong bench. From Wades to Robertson to Ngunoma to Mamashidashvili, Jones, Isak, Gomez, Frimpong, and Endo Wataru. These are very, very strong kind of team. Anyway, this game is about to start in another hour's time. So who is your money on? Who is your money on? Because Liverpool are at home, and the Anfield is always rocking. And have you realized something? Liverpool are winning in the very last minutes of the game. This is interesting. In fact, Fergie time is no longer Fergie time. It is now slot time. You slot them at the very last minute. Anyway, they need to change this, because I have a feeling one team will just hold on to that draw or that win, and Liverpool may just drop points. Anyway, there's so many games coming up this weekend. So many games, and I think the crop of the cream of the games this weekend is basically the Manchester United game against Chelsea. This is a game that is big. This game is what, 4 or 5 hours away. So that is a big game. It's a big game, and it's normally a drawn game. These two have met so many times, but in the last 5 meetings, I think they've had a lot of draws between them. Basically, the last game they met in the Premier League, when Chelsea hosted United, Chelsea won 1-0. And then they met at Old Trafford. It was a 1-1. Chelsea won in the 2004. I think they beat Manchester United 4-3. It was a high-scoring game. Then Manchester United beat them at home. That is 2-1. United again beat them 4-1. So this is a game that is gonna be very, very interesting to watch, because I am looking at the results here, and it's quite interesting. Now, if you look at the form between Manchester United and Chelsea, Manchester United have started the league very poorly. In fact, they've lost to Arsenal, they drew to Fulham, they lost to Grimsby in the Cup. They were beaten by they beat Burnley, and then they lost to Manchester City. A very, very big defeat, 3-0 in the Manchester derby. A game that I didn't feel the results showed what is going on, because United played well in the first few minutes, but then Haaland kept on just running through them. Dogu kept on just doing what Dogu does, tricking guys and passing, and though he was almost man of the match, but the 2 Haaland goals. So on the other hand, Chelsea they have not lost this season. They have not lost in the league, but they lost to Bayern 3-1. They drew with Brentford away. That was a 2-2 draw. And then they beat Fulham 2-0. They beat West Ham 1-0, and they drew with Crystal Palace. Basically, those are just London derbies. These guys have been playing all London derbies. Because Crystal Palace is in London, West Ham is in London, Fulham is in London. I think Brentford is in London too. So these are derbies basically. So how London teams win the league is also very hard to understand, because they have like derbies, almost 5, 6, 7 derbies in a season. Because if you look at teams that are in London, they're quite a number, and that is something that is quite interesting to watch, something quite interesting to see. So what is the likely lineup for Manchester United in this game? This lineup will not change much because I believe these two coaches don't like changing their systems and the kind of play, except Chelsea. They like doing it a lot because they have the resources. Now, I'll remind you again, if you are new to this channel, consider subscribing, because this is something that we need to do for any individual growth and channel's growth. Now, Manchester United against Chelsea. Who starts for this in this particular game? Let's just look at it briefly. Now, for Manchester United, it's a straightforward kind of thing. It's a 3-4-3 system. This is Amorim's dream. This is Amorim's bread and butter, and he said even the Pope cannot make him change. This guy is arrogant, or is this guy is just knows something we don't know? How do you say that when you're performing so poorly? Anyway, that's a story for another day. So Manchester United against Chelsea, the lineup will be straightforward. I think they will just mimic what they had. But remember, Mount is back, CUNHA is back. These are very good options for Ruben Amorim. So I think in goal, that is where the test is. Is Bandit going to start, or is it Senne Lamens? I'll prefer Lamens to start this game. Then Luke Shaw, delete Euro. That one basically picks itself. Euro has to improve, Shaw has to improve in this game, because that is the game that he played against City was not the right way to play. Dogu will stick, so it is between Casemiro and Ugarte. I think Casemiro comes in for this. Bruno will play at 10, so probably there will be Casemiro and Ugarte, or Casemiro and Manu. That is a change that we are looking forward to. And then Beumo, Shesko, and Ahmad. That is my lineup for today. So that should be a very, very strong lineup for Manchester United. Because Ahmad now moves back to the wing back, and Bruno slots there. Then where Bruno played last time, Casemiro comes in. So either it's Maino and Ugarte in that position. So I think Mount and CUNHA will be brought in the second half for this particular game. So that is just my feeling for this particular game. If Manchester United need to get any points, they have to do exactly that. They have to follow that particular script, because that will work for them nicely. Now, Chelsea, on the other hand, have a plethora of players. They just have so many players to choose from. So that is where the confusion starts. But I think the coach will correct that. In the back, Sanchez, I think, will continue in goal. Cucurella, Choloba, Adarabia, and James, not Gasto. And then Caicedo will be brought in with Fernandez. Then we'll have Cole Palmer, Neto, and probably one more midfielder in the middle of the park. Garnacho, probably in the wings, and then João Pedro. So that should be the lineup that Chelsea will go to in this game. So what do you think? What do you think about these lineups that I've just mentioned? What do you think about this game? Because this is a big game that is going to just blow out your mind. Anyway, Coach Charles in the house. Consider subscribing to Kick On Sports. We are looking at this soon. We'll be having some live sessions to just look at the games and hear what you feel about it. See you in a bit.